for you and my audience, who is one of my least favorite people in government? I know I gave it away with a photo, but what goes around comes around. John Ratcliffe just busted you, and now we have all the information simply confirming what we already knew, but now it's out to the American public. But the bigger question will be, when I report this to you, Mr. Ratcliffe, what are you going to do about it? You know I don't like this man. Never have. John Brennan. And you know I struggle with Mr. Clapper too now, don't I? Because they were working behind the scenes to destroy President Trump. It's a well-documented fact, but now it appears it wraps up a little bit higher. Well, never mind. We already knew it wrapped up to him, didn't we? And now the report's out. But unfortunately, another report doesn't mean anything will ever happen. I'm going to give you all the details of this in 1 minute. Before I do, I need a favor from you, a fairly simple favor. As many of you have read in the comments, this channel seems for whatever reason to chirp somebody off somewhere. And so our views aren't quite where I'd like them. Well, not where they were a couple weeks ago. Overnight, suddenly, it appears either my audience has changed their perspective on my channel magically and mystically after amazing growth for the last year provided by each and every one of you. So I'd like you to check if you're still subscribed. I'd love you to check if your bell is checked to all. And please, all of you who've joined as members here, thank you so much for your support. I also have someone else to thank for support, and that's Noble Gold Investments. Have you gone to JustusKnightGold.com yet? Do you think your 401k safe, growing, reliable? Well, here's the truth. The 401k was never designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift risk onto you, leaving your retirement exposed to Wall Street crashes, inflation, chaos. We've seen plenty of that now, don't we? That's why thousands are moving into gold, why I partnered with Noble Gold, who helps Americans roll over part of their 401k into real physical gold, tax advantage, penalty-free, and shockproof. Get your free wealth protection kit now by simply visiting JustusKnightGold.com. Pretty easy. There's also more information in the description box below. I want you to click there. Tax advantage, penalty-free, and shockproof. Remember that. Remember, there's always risk to investing, no guarantee. That's what Noble Gold offers you. Take control before it's too late. And right now, bonus for you. Get rewarded for getting started. Open a qualified account at JustusKnightGold.com. And they'll send you 2 of these beautiful 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins for free. Now, come on. What better offer are you going to get today? Get to JustusKnightGold.com right now. All right, so let's get back to it. Miranda Devine, New York Post exclusive. Obama-Trump-Russia collusion report was corrupt from the start, a new CIA review says. Of course it was. Who doesn't know that? Well, I guess it's at least nice to see it's official now. The report itself, not a long one to read, only 8 pages long. Director of Central Intelligence Agency from the Deputy Director of CIA for Analysis. Tradecraft review of the 2016 Intelligence Community Assessment on Russian election. You got it. Yeah, we're back there again, aren't we? What does it report, to be more specific? Well, we'll just start here. The review focused particular attention on the ICA's most debated judgment that Russia's President Vladimir Putin aspired to help then-candidate Donald Trump win the election, drawing on CIA materials provided to congressional oversight investigations. The DA examined whether any procedural anomalies or tradecraft weaknesses may have affected soundness and objectivity of this key judgment and the overall assessment. Shocker, shocker. The role in the U.S. presidential election created confusion about the IC's actual assessment. These contradictory messages prompted President Obama on December 6 to direct then Director of National Intelligence James Clapper to conduct a comprehensive review of all available intelligence and provide the IC's best assessment of Russian activities related to the election. Of course he did. Of course he did. The review identified multiple procedural anomalies. This review, coming out of Ratcliffe's office, that undermined the credibility of the ICA, including a highly compressed production timeline, stringent compartmentalization, and excessive involvement of agency heads. So what does that mean? Well, what they did is they wanted to get a report out, so they rushed a report so very few people could see it. They selected which intelligence agencies would be able to see it, and it was those that Brennan and Clapper, well, it appears, most tightly controlled. And by doing that, no one had the proper time to vet this out or review it, but that wasn't the intent, now was it? It also questions the exclusion of key intelligence agency and said media leaks may have influenced analysts to conform to false narratives of Trump-Russia collusion. Shocking. Shocking. The rushed timeline to publish both classified and unclassified versions before the presidential transition raised questions about a potential politically motivated effort behind the White House tasking and timeline. It's only in black and white. We've been reporting on this for years. The review found that Brennan directed the compilation of the ICA and that his, Comey, and Clapper's direct engagement in the ICA's development was highly unusual in both scope and intensity and risked stifling analytic debate, because that's what they wanted to do. They didn't want any debate. They simply wanted the report out. They wanted to take a report based on something everyone knew was disqualified and use it as a basis. Well, I'll show you in a second. Timeline impact. The highly compressed timeline was atypical for a formal IC assessment, one that destroyed a man's life. But let's not go through the proper channels. Multiple IC stakeholders said they felt jammed by the compressed timeline. Most got their first look at the hard copy draft and underlying sensitive reporting just before or only at the in-person coordination meeting because it was already out on December 19th, because no one was going to stop this. Brennan handpicked the CIA analysts to compile the ICA and involved only the ODNI, CIA, FBI, and NSA, excluding 13 of the then 17 intelligence agencies. Wasn't that convenient? We don't want any contrary opinion. Isn't that always typical of that side? We don't want any opinion other than our own, and we'll ram it through. Why do you think they hate President Trump so much, huh? He sidelined the National Intelligence Council and forced the inclusion of the discredited Steele dossier despite objections of the authors. So out of you excluded 13 of 17, but even the 4 that were included still didn't want the Steele dossier put in there, but you still got it added. This was a one-sided full-force effort to destroy President Trump. This was Obama, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan deciding we're going to screw Trump, said Ratcliffe in an exclusive interview posted by the New York Post. It was, we're going to create this and put it as an IC assessment in a way that nobody can question it. They stamped it as a Russia collusion and then classified it so nobody could see it. How genius, huh? They've done that time and time again. But it all begs one big question. Remembering this all led to Mueller, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's inquiry, which concluded after 2 years that there was no Trump-Russia collusion because it was never... I'm going to stop. I had to stop. How many times are we going to say the same thing? But I don't care about this. It's great they put it out in black and white. Phenomenal. You should have done it years ago. This should have been a joke from the moment anybody even presented the idea, but we know that's not how the establishment works. You see how Brennan and Clapper and Comey manipulated and silenced all career professionals and railroaded the process. We know that. That's not my issue here. I'm glad you got something out in black and white. CIA Director John Ratcliffe. All the world can now see the truth. Brennan, Clapper, and Comey manipulated intelligence and silenced career professionals, all to get Trump. Thank you for the career CIA officers who conducted this review and exposed the facts. But it leads to one damn big question, doesn't it? As General Michael Flynn stated, do something about it. My question is, what are you going to do about it? And my question to you is, what do you think? Is anything ever going to happen, or are we looking at more ink on paper? And that's where it's going to end. Isn't that sad? Man, I love bringing you this news. It's just aggravating that these folks never seem to do anything about it. Talking about it and reporting on something everybody already knows and then doing nothing about it. Well, you just kind of wasted our time. And you wasted our tax dollars. But you haven't provided us much beyond that yet, have you? I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.